This episode of Bouts Talking Bouts is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Winning parlays, if you're looking for them in BKFC, you got to be checking out BK Bet Shark. Here's the thing, $50 buys, you get a personalized bet slip. It's based on your own budget. You can be flexible. It is what works for you. And this guy's got the receipts. You can check out all the winning tickets. You can peep them, and you can do so at Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Check him out on Instagram and get with it. Got them personalized betting slips going on, $50 buys. All right, on this episode of Bare Knuckle Radio, very excited to be talking to an individual who competes for quite an enormous event, which goes down on December 2nd. I'm talking BKFC 56, and we've got Mike Jones knuckling up and towing the line in Utah against Erick Lozano, and great having Erick back on the show. How are you doing there, man? You having a good day?
I'm doing good. Got up early, went to go do a morning run, and took care of a couple errands, and after this interview, I'll be hitting up the gym again.
Yeah, for sure. That's great to hear, and it looks like you're returning to light heavyweight here, at least per the BKFC website, after a middleweight matchup last time out. Like, how does it feel to be back at light heavyweight for this one?
That's usually what I want to fight bad. I think light heavyweight's 185. It's different for MMA and BKFC, so I always get mixed up. So, is light heavyweight 185?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, that's what I like to fight at. I know I came in overweight in my last fight against Bostwick. I just had a lot of adversity. I was dealing with a lot of stuff the week right before the fight, which gave me trouble making weight. But I still tried to go make it and try to cut. I think it was like 25 pounds in 2 days.
Is that like a situation you can learn from, or was it just unfortunate circumstance that affected that particular fight?
No, it's just unfortunate circumstances. So it was just unfortunate circumstances where I wasn't able to do anything for 5 days. So, yeah, and then right after I was able to get away from that situation, I was flying out to go try to cut weight and be there for the fight. A lot of people would have backed out from the fight, but I'm not one to back out, so I still showed up and tried to get the weight down.
Yeah, and how did that fight, I guess, play out? I mean, it seemed like you were talking there was a lot of adversities heading in terms of affecting the weight cut, but I mean, an exciting fight against Jake Bostwick and pretty highly positioned on the card. And I mean, not necessarily the outcome you wanted per se, but an exciting fight, and just kind of wondering what takeaways you had from that BKFC 45 fight.
Jake Bostwick is a tough opponent, and I learned a lot from. That's the first time I went on 5 rounds in BKFC, and it's a little bit more tiring than I expected. And like I said, I mean, I was a little drained from trying to cut that weight in 2 days, and I was trying to pace myself, and maybe I shouldn't have done it. And that's one of the things I learned, that in BKFC you got to go and go straight forward. And I was being more of a counter puncher against Bostwick, and I think that's what caused me the fight.
I was going to say, is it a different consideration in this fight? Like, do you feel like maybe you'll initiate the forward pressure a little more in this fight then? Is that what you're saying? Or maybe that should have been the approach for that particular matchup with Bostwick?
Yeah, I'm going to initiate more. I want to be the first. I want to be the first to connect and be the aggressor in this fight. But then again, I am a counter puncher, so I mean, I've been working on moving forward and being the aggressor as I'm training for this fight, and that's what I want to do, because I think that's what BKFC. That's what you want to do in the circle. The square circle. You don't want to be the first one to get hit. So you got to be the aggressor and initiate the first blows, and that's what I'm training to do right now.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say it seemed like that played out in your Francesco Morici fight, just in terms of getting that, big finish and everything like that. So that's something you've been more working on in some recent camps, like initiating the forward pressure a little bit more. Like, what are you doing to, I guess, build upon that in your training?
I've been working with a lot of solid boxers that are pretty good. And we actually we line up and toe the line. Like if I'm doing BKFC and I ask them to bring pressure right off the rip as soon as the round goes, and that's how I've been trying to initiate and getting prepared for being the aggressor in this fight. So if I have somebody that's going to, or we're doing the same thing and working towards it, then it's going to change everything. It's a lot different than MMA. And then I know I drew. It's boxing, and it's way different than MMA, and something I'm not used to. I'm still learning the boxing process.
I was going to say it's kind of interesting you say that because, I mean, you had a few fights already. I mean, it's indicative of, wanting to learn and grow more, but I was noticing that this, is going to be a BKFC debut for your opponent, Mike Jones. Like, as much as you're talking about, still learning the game, like, do you think your experience advantage in bare knuckle will ultimately be one of the big variables in this upcoming fight here?
Yeah, I do believe so. When I did bare knuckles, I wanted to throw a spinning back punch. I mean, I'm used to doing crazy stuff like that when I was going against Lorenzo Hunt, and I remember it was just I felt awkward. I started off slow, and I've learned a lot in just 3 fights that I've had, and I've also fought pretty much the top 3 fighters in the division. So I think it's going to be a big. It's going to be a big advantage for me, having already had 3 fights at BKFC compared to him being a debuter. So I'm looking to push pressure on him and being explosive off the rip and show him what BKFC is all about.
And are you a fighter that, I guess, is inclined to do tape study on your opponents, or are you more just focusing on your own efforts? I guess I ask that because I'm wondering if maybe you'd watch some of his MMA fights and see if you could glean anything from that, or maybe you're not doing that because it's an entirely new sport he's entering here.
To be honest with you, I haven't even looked up. I just know his name is Mike Jones. Haven't looked up any of his fights. Right now, I'm more worried about me being more explosive and working on me and my boxing. I know the referee was telling me I couldn't backhand, so I got a habit of doing that. I told my right, and I would want to throw it again with the backhand, and I was told I couldn't do that. So it's still an adjustment and learning process for me. So I'm sure it's going to be a little different for him, and hopefully I could capitalize on that.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. It seems like they're trying to make strides to make that more clear, just with those like unified rules of bare knuckle that they established relatively recently. Like I think like a couple of months, maybe even a few months ago. So yeah, still an interesting thing, still an evolving sort of game as far as like, what techniques you can do and what you could bring over. I mean, have you maybe talked to even some regulatory people and kind of been like, oh, hey, like what kind of strikes can I bring in from MMA and add to my bare knuckle game? Or is it kind of just learning on the job almost?
Pretty much just learning on the job. And like I said, I've been working with a lot of boxers and boxing coaches, so working my footwork. Everything's a little bit more different for the transition to BKFC, because it's pretty much just boxing without gloves on. And the more I get with footwork and working with boxing coaches, I think I'll get where I need to be, and this will be I'm just going to be focusing on BKFC from here on out, and I'm hoping I can get a couple of wins and get in the top 5 or something. Give me some more big fights, and hopefully a title fight soon.
Well, I mean, speaking of big fights, it seems like this card very much fits within that. I mean, a lot of people are saying it might even be the biggest BKFC event of all time. Like, is it cool for you to be part of an event like this? I feel like if you have a statement win on this card, it could really serve you getting that sort of ranked opponent that you were just sort of talking about there.
Yes, absolutely. It's the card is stacked from top to bottom. I also got one of my teammates that's on the card. Esteban Rodriguez, aka Mohawk. We've been training a lot together, so it's going to be fun going out there with one of my teammates, and we're going to have extra coaches and stuff out there. So we're going to be going with a lot of people too. I have a lot of people flying in to watch that fight. It's going to be an explosive night, and like you said, the card's stacked from top to bottom.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I imagine there's a great training atmosphere in the gym anyways, but I imagine there's a certain something in the air just with both of you guys having your individual tasks on the same night, you know, big event and everything. I would think there would be that certain camaraderie and support even on fight night, even though you guys are both off to your individual tasks, like I said.
Yeah, we're good friends. We help each other out however we can. He lives about an hour away from me, so he'll come out my way one day. I'll come out his way one day, and we have different coaches, but us doing the same thing and working towards the same goal of becoming the best that we can in our weight divisions is what we want to do. Just be there for each other as much as possible.
Yeah, I feel like there'd be a lot of great range work to be had with a guy like that. I mean, it seems like he's got like a pretty long sort of reach. I would think that would benefit your game in a certain regard there for sure. I mean, obviously other skills, but that's just like a thing that immediately sprang to mind, I guess.
Yeah, he does have that long reach advantage. I think my coach told me that Mike Jones is a taller guy, a longer guy, so working with Mohawk's going to benefit me. So I've been trying to get in a lot of rounds with him when we do spar, but we're not always sparring. We're working all types of aspects of the game. So, but yeah, getting that look from Mohawk is a plus for me.
Yeah, for sure. Love to hear that. Seems like you guys are, you know, inspiring each other and lifting each other up. So love to see that for sure. And the last time we were kind of talking, I was asking about, I guess, how you saw the Jake Bostwick fight ending. I was asking that, I guess, because certain fighters do a lot of visualization, and usually within that they see like a, I guess, reoccurring sort of outcome. It seemed like with Bostwick, you were more familiar with him, so maybe saw it as like a fight of the night sort of thing. Like, do you have a certain, I guess, visualization for how this fight will go, or maybe not as much because, like you said, not as much intel on this particular opponent as much?
With Bostwick, it was an interesting fight. Like I said, I was being more of a counter fighter for Bostwick. I knew I had a tough cut, and I knew I was dealing with adversity, so I was playing it more safe than trying to go out there and try to kill. And even in the fight, for myself, I was thinking in my head, why am I not trying to kill it? Why am I not exploding like I want to? I guess it was just more of a mental thing for me, because I felt good. I did get tired, I think, in the beginning, towards the fourth round. I hadn't been there in BKFC yet till that fight, and I was more like in a survival mode for when I was fighting Bostwick, and I kicked myself in the butt for that, because I know if I wouldn't have had that adversity before that week, I think I could have finished Bostwick in 3 rounds or less. And I'm trying to go into this fight with Mike Jones, and I don't want to go past the first or second round. I want to go in there and be explosive and take it to him right off the rip, see if he can handle the pressure.
So maybe seeing it ending inside the distance as opposed to like a points victory, you're kind of saying.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to leave anything to the judges. I think the Bostwick fight was closer than what they were saying it was. I think I watched it a couple of times, and I was catching him with counters and stuff. He caught me in the 5th round and opened me up, but he wasn't really catching me too bad. We were both exchanging pretty good. He was more, and he was running from me for the most part the last couple rounds. So
And I'm curious because we're kind of ending off the year here. I mean, maybe looking forward represents, the BKFC 56 fight specifically, but do you have a certain, I guess, idea for how you see 2024 panning out, like in terms of maybe certain goals that you have? I guess we're pseudo getting to like New Year's resolution territory and whatnot. Like, do you have a certain idea for like what you'd want to, I guess, achieve in 2024, or is it more blinders on for December 2nd?
Yeah, I already, like I said, I'm strictly going to be training for BKFC, and I want to go out and make a statement December 2nd, and in 2024, I want to fight a top 5 opponent after this fight. Like, I've already fought the best. I've already fought Lorenzo Hunt. I fought 2 former champ. I mean, fought a champ, which is one of the considered pound for pound for BKFC and Lorenzo Hunt, and I did fairly well against Lorenzo on 2 weeks' notice, and I think we fought at a heavier weight class. I think it was at 205 that I usually don't fight at, and then I fought Francesco Ricky and did well against him, and then Boswick, I think he's ranked number 2 or 3 in the division, so, and I want to fight the best and get myself that opportunity that I was telling you about earlier, which is a title shot, and hopefully my goal is to get one of those fights in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, definitely doable if you get the kind of statement wins that we've seen you get in the past in BKFC. But I really appreciate the time, Erick. Like I was kind of saying earlier, though, I do want to be mindful of your, I guess, presumably busy schedule heading into a fight like this. So I'm curious if maybe there's a final parting thought you'd like to add as we're kind of wrapping things up here, man.
No, just going out there making a statement. Hopefully, me and Mohawk go out there, make a statement. Maybe we could. We've been talking and sorts of working more together and building a team together out here. I'm hoping also that we could get one of the BKFC tryouts out here in Michigan. I haven't contacted anybody about that, but that's one of my goals personally, to try to get one of those recruiting BKFC tryouts out here. There's a lot of guys out here that want to keep on hitting me up about joining BKFC, and I think there's a lot of talent out here in West Michigan or in Michigan in general. So that's one of the goals that I want. One of my New Year's resolutions that I want to get done for next year, 2024.
Well, I think that's a thoughtful, admirable goal. I mean, definitely something that can lift up the scene where you're at, and then by proxy, just the sport overall. So I love to hear that mentality, and really excited for this Mike Jones fight at BKFC 56. And I appreciate you coming on ahead of this awesome December 2nd fight and giving great insights on Bare Knuckle Radio, Erick. So thank you for that, and have a good rest of your day, man.
Thanks, I appreciate your time too.
This episode of Bouts Talking Bouts is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Winning parlays, if you're looking for them in BKFC, you got to be checking out BK Bet Shark. Here's the thing, $50 buys, you get a personalized bet slip. It's based on your own budget. You can be flexible. It is what works for you. And this guy's got the receipts. You can check out all the winning tickets. You can peep them, and you can do so at Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Check him out on Instagram and get with it. Got them personalized betting slips going on, $50 buys.